Hello, I am Emily Reed Coletis, and today we will be learning about Erikson's psychosocial development. But before we dive in, I want to ask you a question. What do you think is the biggest challenge for people your age? We're going to take a moment to think, and I want you to share with a couple of partners, and then we will share with the class. Well, the psychologist Erikson believed that people face different challenges depending on their age. He outlined 8 stages of psychosocial development, which we will explore today. Let's walk through Erikson's 8 stages. Each stage has an age range, a central conflict, and a possible positive or negative outcome. It includes the influence of social dynamics and psychosocial development into adulthood as well. Our first one will be the infancy period, trust versus mistrust. Infants depend on caregivers for everything: feeding, comfort, and safety. If caregivers are consistent, the baby learns trust. If not, mistrust develops. The virtue here is hope. This is from birth to 18 months. Our next one is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is the I can do it myself stage. Toddlers want independence, like feeding themselves or choosing clothes. Encouragement builds autonomy. Criticism or over control can create shame and doubt. The virtue here is will/willpower. Our next stage is initiative versus guilt. This is the preschool age, ages 3 to 5 years old. At this stage, children are curious and imaginative. They love asking questions. Why this? Why that? Why are we going here? They like to invent games and pretending. If supported, they develop initiative. When working in a preschool classroom, this is something I saw every day. They like to role play as well as say, teacher, I can do this myself. I can go grab the paint myself. But if you support them, they're going to want to keep doing more. Whereas if they're discouraged, they're going to feel guilt. Their virtue here is purpose. Our next one is going to be school age, ages 5 to 12 years old. Industry versus inferiority stage. Children start comparing themselves to peers, especially at school. Success leads to industry or feeling capable. Failure or lack of support can lead to inferiority. The virtue here is competence. Our next one is very important. This is the adolescence age, identity versus role confusion. Ages 12 to 18 years old. So middle school to end of high school. Teenagers begin to ask, who am I? They explore roles, values, and identities. Support helps them develop identity and fidelity, staying true to themselves. Without it, they may feel confused or insecure. Think about your school. Think about all of the different phases you've gone through. Do you think you've gone through different phases? I know I went through an emo phase, mainly because of my older cousins, and I even went through a Visco Girl phase. Our next one is young adulthood, intimacy versus isolation. As young adults, people seek close and meaningful relationships and bonds. Success builds intimacy and love. Struggles can lead to isolation and loneliness. These are people 18 to 40 years old. Our next one is generativity versus stagnation, ages 40 to 65. In midlife, people want to contribute to society through work, parenting, or community service. This creates generativity, or care for others. If they feel unproductive or disconnected, they may experience stagnation, as in feeling stuck. And then our last stage is ego integrity versus despair, which is late adulthood, 65 years age and up. In later years, people reflect on their life. If they feel satisfied, they develop integrity and wisdom. But if they feel any regret or bitterness towards what they have done in life, they may fall into despair. Now, before we end, I want to practice identifying the different stages. I'm going to read a scenario, and then I want you to tell me what stage it matches. First, a 2-year-old insists on feeding herself with a spoon, even though she makes a mess. Which stage would this be? If you said autonomy versus shame and doubt, you are correct. Our next one is a 14-year-old experiments with different friend groups and styles to figure out who they are. If you said identity versus role confusion, you are correct again. Our third one is a retired man looks back on his life and feels at peace with the choices he has made. This one is ego integrity versus despair. And our last one is a 7-year-old beams with pride after spelling all their words correctly in class. Now, this one could be confusing, but if you look back at the age groups, you could tell that this one is in industry versus inferiority. We're going to do a quick partner quiz, and you are going to answer the questions with your neighbor. Our first one is, which stage focuses on forming close relationships? And the second question is going to be, which stage is typical for teenagers? You're going to work in partners, and you will have 1 to 2 minutes to come up with your answers, and then we are going to share. In conclusion, we learned about Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development. Remember, each stage comes with challenges and opportunities for growth. For your exit ticket today, write down the stage you are currently in and one challenge that comes with it. Make sure to hand it out as you leave. Thank you.